Hey YouTube, this is just a quick video to offer some tips for the installation of the Airlift 1000 HD airbags. I just installed it on my 2012 Ram 1500 4x4. Just a couple of pointers that I found that helped me that I didn't find in other videos. There are lots of great videos out there, and the owner's manual for the product is pretty detailed, so make sure you watch those videos, search them, read the owner's manual. So I'm just going to add some tips to those. One is in order to get this airbag into the shape of that hot dog bun that they recommend, to insert it inside the spring. Unless you've got the grip strength of Captain America, that's going to be impossible to hold that shape while you're working it in here. And so what I did is I used a couple of larger tie wraps about a third of the way up on either end. Once you get it into that hot dog bun shape, use the tie wraps. It'll hold the shape. And then I use the backside of a small wooden hammer as the blunt object to force it in. But once you put the tie wraps on there, it goes in pretty easily. The other thing I found is that once you get this in here, if you've got it jacked up the way I did and your springs are extended, I'll explain that in a minute, you're going to have lots of room on the top and the bottom once the airbag goes in. You want that airbag to be situated all the way down, because you're going to need that room up here on the top. Once you take the valve cap off and the bag inflates, you're going to want as much room up top as possible once you get your airline through and you're connecting all of that. I also used some plumber's tape on the threads up here for the hose connect. As you can see, I ran the hose through the frame with lots of slack. The other thing I would recommend, because you get one solid piece of hose, they don't pre-cut them for you, which is good because they don't know what kind of system you're going to run, I would recommend running this airline through one side or the other. Connect the valve stem on the rear and finish that off, and then don't trim this airline until you've got it fully connected on the one side on the bumper. That way you'll know exactly how much line you need here. Cut it off with a little extra to spare, and then you'll have all that you need for the other side. Don't forget to put this little puck in here. I forgot to do that, so then I had to disassemble it and reconnect it. For your valve stems, I would recommend, for a cleaner look, you don't need to drill any new holes. You can integrate them right into your license plate connector. At least you can on the Ram 1500. There's plenty of room back there. I had to use a bit that was the same size as the valve stem. It's not hard to match that up. To route the hole out of the bumper, you don't need to do that for the license plate. It's already the right size. It's the perfect fit. I know on this Dodge Ram, there was also in the plastic backside of this bumper, there was a built-in nut that was to receive the bolt for the license plate, and you just have to snap that off with a large screwdriver and a hammer. But I think it finished it off a lot nicer than having to drill some extra holes in there. So on this side, if you're doing a Ram 1500, I found that on the driver's side, I didn't want to run the hose through the same hole of the frame as I did on the passenger side, because there's a wiring harness here. And so I just went past that hole, as you can see, and then enter the frame here. Again, there's lots of slack. And then with the tie wraps they provided, I was able to make a couple of securing connections there. So, but yeah, for jacking it up, let's talk about that just a little bit. Again, there's lots of videos out there for how to safely jack up a car. So this isn't a safety guide for all of that. I'm assuming that you've got some experience with that. So, but what I did for mine, in order to extend the coils, which you definitely want to do to create more space in between the gaps of the springs to get the airbag in, you want to extend those springs. And so what I did, I have a 3-ton jack, just a Harbor Freight jack, and then I had a heavy-duty piece of treated, I think it's like a 6x6 or 4x4, something like that, as a block that I put under the differential, in between the differential and the jack. And I jacked up the rear end, and then from Harbor Freight I also bought some 6-ton jack stands. They're like $30 for the pair, and then I put those jack stands on the frame rails in between the 2 front tires, and then you come back here to your jack, and then slowly lower your hydraulic jack that's under the differential, and just lower it a little bit at a time, and make sure you're keeping an eye out on your brake lines that you do not overextend those, and then you'll be able to extend your brake, your springs to be able to get the airbag in. So anyways, hope that helps. Good luck to you.